Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video, and this is kind of like the introductory to my little three-part mini-series of how to perfect gacha. Yes, I said that the way I wanted to, how to perfect gacha. Now, this is going to be part one where it kind of talks about how to set up gachas perfectly and what you need to do in order to maximize your gacha. Literally everything, get the crystals, that's what you need, that's what you want, so that's what we're going to go ahead and try and maximize. I'm going to teach you step by step the basics right now and like some little helpful hints, and then I'll make some videos about how to like maximize it in like general large numbers of gachas, and then what is actually best to feed gachas by testing it one by one. Obviously this sweet gold around us, you can see it right here. It's some amazing stuff. This is all gacha crystals. It's all amazing stuff. You pick it up and you get yourself some just crazy loot. Now, if you just consume them, basically what's going to happen, these are not like actual gacha crystals, so they're just going to, go away. But what you're going to be able to do with these gacha crystals is they give you a ton of resources. Now, that being said, you can see it right here. We've got a bunch of gachas here. They're all producing resources right now. I'm testing what is actually the best in order to get the best resources from them. And there's a lot of really good stuff that you can get from gachas, especially early game. Not only that, but you can literally do resource runs without ever leaving your base if you get good at this kind of stuff. So literally just run it out right here. You can see this is not very hard. This is on solo player settings, so these aren't even good up weapons and items, but free loot essentially. None of it's great, but if you're just looking to go out and waste some stuff and have some fun, it's amazing. So let's go ahead and get started with this entire process here. Alright, so first off, I'm going to go ahead and show you the thing. Some people already know this. If you go to the gacha, you go to the production, each one has a unique radio wheel, like you see right here, ranging from things like you could get element dust, metal, crystal, obsidian, anything that you feel necessary, anything that spawns in the game, technically, you can get. There are a few things that are left off the list, but pretty much all things that are like hard to get, like black pearls, silica pearls. Some people hate going for runs for those, so basically you just feed your gachas and they'll produce them in these little crystals for you. And there's some pretty neat stuff that you can get out of them. They will give you a certain set of amount of stuff based on their overall crafting skill. So if you look at their crafting skill, the higher the crafting skill, the better and higher number of things you're going to get from them. I believe there is a cap right around 180 if I'm not mistaken, and once you get above that, there's no value in it anyways, and you just want to crank out their weight, because that's just how it works. So I will come back to this video in a later date when I'm talking about what is the best thing to feed these gachas in order to produce them, but let's go ahead and go to the basics for right now. So how do you actually start this whole process? So first and foremost, you got some gachas. We're going to need some snow owls, and then we're going to need some resources. I'm going to feed these gachas two different things, swords and stone, just so you can see the difference between the two. So first off, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and set up a preliminary little pad for us. And this preliminary pad is going to be just big enough for two gachas. You can kind of make it as big as you want, but I usually do it about 8 across if I'm just doing just a basic level one. And I usually do it 4 deep. Now, this is why, you'll see in a second here. So basically what you do with this is you have on the back side of this, and if I can get some walls placed here, there we go. Gachas, I'll go ahead and show you how tall they are so you can see, are pretty tall creatures. They have a real issue with being in small spaces. You can see that they are literally 4 tall, and that is how tall you want to be able to like get them off the ground, and I'll show you why in a second here. So basically, we want to be able to have these gachas picking up poop and being able to feed them easily. Now we also want their crystals to fall in very simple ways. So what we're going to do is we're going to create like a little bridge kind of concept for them, and like a stairway that's going to drop crystals down onto our faces, and it's going to be super awesome. Now what you're going to do is you're going to do like you see right here. You're going to go off the back side of this. Now obviously this is a more PvE style build, but it just shows you the concept of what you're trying to get done here. So we're going to go ahead and put another wall up here. You'll see why in a second here. And we're going to go 3 tall on this one, please. Thank you. And the reason that we're going 3 tall on this one is because it'll be higher than the gacha's the gacha's ability to block things with their just general huge size. And then on the back side, you're going to put down one just little tiny wall right here. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and place down some stairs. Now the reason we're going to place down stairs is gacha crystals roll downhill quite literally, like they're gravity based. Now, stairs work much better than ramps, in my personal opinion. You don't need to use stairs, but I much prefer using stairs over anything else, and that's just how I like to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this guy back, and we're going to let these gacha crystals roll down to our feet because we want to minimize the amount of effort we have to put into actually gathering these from different locations. So basically you can see there's a Fiume. I don't even know what he's doing over there, but we're going to go ahead and let these gacha crystals roll right on down. And yes, you don't need to use tech. This is just something that I enjoy how it looks, so that's why I use it. We're going to go ahead and start by putting up these snow owls. Now, each snow owl is going to basically fall its barf and vomit down onto the gachas. Now, you'll see right there, this guy right here, he will drop his vomit down on top of a gacha that is nearby. I'll show you what it looks like just by bringing him up here, just like this. And you're going to back him up just so he's raised. See how he raised up a little bit there? As soon as he hits that raised state, that means his back is going to drop down that ledge. So we're going to go ahead and bring both gachas up. I'll finish this in a second here. And we're going to put them a very nice distance apart, like this. And then I'll talk about how to maximize all your basic level production. Okay, thank you. But basically, once we get our snow owls up there, I like using 2. You can use more than 2. You don't need to do that, but I just like using 2. So you can use as many as you want or as few as you want. But 2 seems to be like my prime number for snow owls per gacha. If you're looking to gather a lot more snow owl pellets, because they will automatically pick them up, you can put as many snow owls as you want up there. But 2 seems to be kind of like the right number. Now, what having snow owl pellets does for the gacha, they don't eat the snow owl pellets. Well, I guess they technically kind of do. But what they're doing is it actually increases the amount of crystals you get per time they sit down. Every time a gacha sits down, it's capable of producing 1 crystal. Now, you have to maximize the ability to get 1 crystal per time they sit. But that being said, once you have that 1 crystal per time, they will continue to produce that crystal, 1 crystal per time they sit. If you don't hit a maximum cap, so like if you don't hit that 1 crystal per time, they will build a small percent of that crystal each time they sit down. So see how this one's building his crystal right there? It's a very large crystal, so it's the one on top. And they will fall off of its back once it's eaten enough and grown that crystal large enough. Just like you see right there, it just falls, rolls down the hill, and you have it now. Now, he probably took 3 or 4 sits in order to get that crystal off of his back, or her back. This one's a him, off of his back. So we're going to try and actually put some food in his inventory. Oh, he's got a little bit in there. So we're going to go ahead and drop all this out, actually, so you can see that. Is this one have anything? No, sweet. Okay, so basically he had some stuff in there. So, oh well. I'm going to drop all of it. Now, they will automatically pick it up, and you can over-encumber any gacha if you drop stuff in front of their inventory, and I'll show you how to do that right here. But basically, now we've got our system set up. We've got our gachas ready to roll their crystals down the hill. We have our 2 snow owls, and let's talk about the actual math behind this. So every time a gacha sits down, again, they are capable of producing 1 crystal, so we want that to happen specifically. We want 1 crystal every time they sit down. If we're able to get that 1 crystal, we are maximizing our production. If we use more than that, it doesn't actually change or give us anything better because you're just wasting resources at that point in time. Now, if we're doing less than that, you're wasting your own time. So you want to find the little range. See how it poops? Now he's going to automatically pick that up, and he'll put it as an inventory, and this will increase his ability to produce loot off of his back. Now, once he has that and they've kind of got that thing going, we're going to go ahead and test all swords, like you see right here, versus all structures. Now, I'm going to go ahead and toss a few down, and this is how you can over-encumber your gachas. You toss down some swords in front of him, and notice he'll pick up that loot, and he'll slowly put it in his inventory and eat those things. Now, you have to be careful, though, because they will eat literally everything. Just so you can see, he's got a lot of weight, and he'll still keep picking stuff off the ground. Now that he's got stuff in his inventory, he is going to increase the amount of stuff that he drops per time he sits down. Now I've got a bunch of stone as well. We're going to go ahead and put that in this one's inventory. Now, this one's filled with stone, and this one has a bunch of swords in it. Swords have more stuff per sword that costs to make it. So the higher the cost, the more seemingly, I guess, how do I say this? The more close to 1 crystal you get per time they sit down. So you can see that he's eating stone, and you can see that crystal growing. We'll go ahead and zoom in on it. It's kind of weird looking. So it's got to grow. Once it gets to maximum size, he'll actually drop the crystal off of his back. And that's how you get crystals from these things. Now, swords over here, just so you can see, because they take more resources, it goes much faster. So this gacha, see how quickly that crystal grows? It's like an instantaneous almost, and it'll drop right off its back. Snap, boom, and we've got it. So you can see all these crystals are ready to crack, whereas just stone, which is what this guy has, the crystals are much smaller and take much longer to grow. Now, once they drop those crystals off their backs, it'll roll down this hill. You can wait for a few hours. You can do whatever you wish for the crystals, but you will eventually get a nice pile of crystals like I had over here. Now, I'll show you how that works. There's 32, and we're just going to go ahead and sit right here. Now, your gachas need to be a total, and this is very important that you follow this rule, by the way, a total of 14. I just spelled stone wrong. That's embarrassing. Drop that. 14 tiles away from each other. That is how you make your gachas happy. So we're just going to go ahead and drop all of our crystals on this so you can see that they roll down this no matter what. Because gacha crystals kind of follow the loot table rules. Oh my goodness, come on. So they will roll down this. Very rarely will they get stuck like that one did, but they'll just roll down to the bottom and you pick them up. So they're nice and centralized for you. So literally with your gachas, what you're doing, popping that one off, rolling it down the hill. This one was one I dropped, so we'll just go ahead and toss that down at the bottom. But they will produce very rapidly. So there we go. This one's already got a bunch. Every time this one sits down, it's going to produce a crystal because it's got more stuff in it. Now, the reason I say more stuff, a sword costs 3 different things in order to make it: metal, hide, and fiber. Whereas stone only takes stone that you don't need. It's like the lowest level resource. So it is much less effective than putting something that is pre-crafted into the inventory of a gacha. So things like war maps, electrical cables, things that are super cheap and easy to make, and like you can just crank out a ton of them. Those are the best things to put in gachas because they will literally give you the best overall resource per time. Now, you can just put stone in them, and that is just fine because the owl pellets will give them a boost. However, it is not necessarily recommended to do that. Now, the reason that I wouldn't do that is because, yeah, it's going to help a ton in order to have, let's get some snow owl pellets in these guys and make them a little happier. There we go. So let's go ahead and just, crank this guy full. So when you increase the snow owl pellets, it's going to make you produce faster as well. So, and that should be enough. And if you really wanted to and you had a whole bunch of these available, you can just toss them on the ground again, and these gachas will automatically pick them up. Just like you see there. They'll just play that pickup game. Now, if you can get a whole bunch of resources, you can just sit these gachas here for hours and just like not log off, but like just hang out nearby and then pick them up every now and then. Let's say you really need black pearls. You change it to black pearls and you have a huge black pearl farm. Now, you can also get element dust, metal. If you don't like, or if you're on a map that's difficult to get metal, maybe you're on a solo player style map and you have a couple of gachas that produce metal. You can do a solo stone run with a Doedicurus really easily, come back and get a metal run out of your gacha with that stone resource. Now, I know that's kind of confusing, but that is one of the most overpowered ways in how late game tribes have so much element. They just get element dust gachas. They get a bunch of stone and they just sit and wait for all this element dust to drop, because per crystal you're usually getting like 180 element dust. I think it's about that much. Maybe it's not that much total, but it's a ton. You get a hilarious amount of element dust. Now you can see that this one produces much faster than this guy. It still produces pretty well, but because he's got more valuable resources in him, he's going to produce better overall gacha pellets. So this is how you set it up. You can see this one still grows the gacha crystals, and most of the time it breaks it off. Come on, drop it like I saw it. Please, we're pretty close. And there it is. Okay, so he'll grow his crystals pretty well, but this one always has crystals ready to go. This one, not so much. So, anyways, this is the beginner kind of early entry level video in order to maximize your gacha profits. Now, you can use seeds, anything that you can eat, or anything that can be made or exists as a resource can be placed into a gacha and they will eat it. Now, they will take chunks of 20 out of stone, whereas when it comes to things like swords, they only eat 1. So it can be much more effective for weight in purpose in order to actually use like basic level stuff. So check out that. Roll that thing down that hill. So anyways, hopefully this video helps you out to get your entry level gacha self working. And other than that, teach out.